what I think has been lacking. If we're really serious about changing the trajectory of poverty and making sure we're expanding access and opportunity, which is the heart of why I'm running, we have to look at things on a systemic level. And that's going to focus on three things. One, expanding access and education opportunities. So this is a personal story to me. From about the 2nd through the 8th grade, I was in learning disability classes, and I struggled early on in school. So some of my teachers, many of my counselors said that I wasn't going to go to college. They said that I didn't have that ability. Luckily, I'm blessed enough to have two strong parents, and particularly a strong mother, who said they don't get to define you by their narrow expectations. You define yourself for yourself, by yourself. And because of their guidance, because of their support, because of their ability to push back, I'm here today and not only graduated from school, I graduated from electrical engineering, and I went on to law school. And so, but there's so many other kids that have a different story, have a different outcome, because their parents don't know how to fight back, or they don't have the exposure and the resources. This is my passion for really wanting to get involved to expand access to people. So while I was at the University of Cincinnati, I implemented and led a new program that's permanently funded called the UC Scholars Academy. And this concept is simple. It's to work with and empower our kids so they can fulfill their full potential. And it's a leadership development program over the summer where we not only let them work with employers, but they're also focused on their academics. And they're pushed harder than they've ever been pushed. And I was proud when the students got out and got done with the program, they went back to the principal, Captain Wright, and said, we have some problems we want to help you solve here. And they were empowered to take back their community. That's how you really change kids' lives. You empower them, you expose them to new opportunities, to new possibilities. We have to do that in a systemic way. So I'm going to work with corporations, I'm going to work with others to give more internship opportunities to our kids and start it off early on, start it off in high school, and incorporate that on with their learning. Because you can't do this in a one-off. We have some great programs that go on in the city, but they're not done in a systemic way that actually connects it. We also want to make sure with education that we have access, that we're giving kids access to the internet and information. There's a real digital divide. So if you're in a community and you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have broadband, you're going to be behind. So one of my initiatives that we're definitely going to get done, and we can get done through a public-private partnership, is high-speed broadband and Wi-Fi access that will be available to all, and we're going to make sure it's available in lower-income communities. Because if it's not available, you're going to be behind. You can't compete in a world where you don't have access to the internet. Second, transportation. You can't be a city of the 21st century with a 20th century infrastructure. And not only do we have a 20th century infrastructure, it's from the 1950s. So we are way behind. And we have to move and catch up quickly. City Hall and city leaders have not taken any leadership in any way. No one's laid out a plan. This is what we're going to do under the Richardson administration. We're going to move forward with an updated version of the Metro Moves plan. I still believe that's the best plan we've had. That plan went down, but let me tell you why it went down. First of all, it was 15 years ago. That's the most important fact. But even with that, it was rushed out very quickly. It was right after 9/11. It was right after the disturbances and the riots in the city. It was a lot of unique things that were going on at that time that I don't think you can measure to say that it's going to fail now. And most importantly, there's been no leadership to push it. When you have no leadership to push it, of course it won't get accomplished. Everything starts and ends with leadership. So when you hear people talk about experience in the political realm, what's most important is experience and leadership and getting things accomplished. Because oftentimes in politics, that just means experience getting elected. It doesn't mean actually getting things accomplished. Third, we need to focus on housing in a way that actually includes people. Now, none of the other incumbents have focused on housing. When I mean they haven't focused on housing, there has been no policy, none. Let me tell you what my policy would be. We'll focus on two things. One, we're going to focus on inclusionary zoning. Inclusionary zoning is a concept that as we grow in the pockets that are growing, in the areas that are growing, we do it in an inclusive manner. So developers and others will be incentivized to actually have inclusive growth. So when we do large developments, we will set aside affordable housing and it will be integrated. So that and then when people from the outside cannot tell the difference and should not be able to tell the difference where an affordable unit is from a market rate unit. Real inclusionary zoning as a policy can and will work. We've never done it in this city as a policy. Other cities have done it. Montgomery County, Maryland is a great example. And what they've shown in that community is that low-income kids do just as well as high-income kids and when they're given the same access and resources to communities. Why? Because they're given the same access. But what we see happen now is as communities are gentrified, people are pushed out, low to moderate income, and then we create new pockets of poverty. That's what's happening right now in the city of Cincinnati. That will continue to happen unless you have leadership that's willing to fight for a policy. This will not be easy. I don't pretend like it will be. I know people will push back. But here's the thing, I am comfortable fighting back. I'm comfortable being uncomfortable, and sometimes making people uncomfortable. It's the only way you push status quo, you can push change. It's the only way it's ever worked. And that's who I am, that's who I've always been. It's who I was when I started the first college chapter of the NAACP, and it's who I was when I was chair of the University of Cincinnati, and it's who I will be as the next mayor of the city of Cincinnati. I believe that while we are 52 neighborhoods, we are one Cincinnati, one people, one community. And on May 2nd, I humbly ask for your vote. Thank you and God bless.